Right, so this is going to be the part 3 of my exploration guide, and this is going to cover the hacking portion or the hacking minigame. So the first two, I went over the fits and different chips that you can use. I also went over the skills as well as how to scan down sites. And so now we're here in null security, and I'm here in my just in our alliance space just to make it a little bit safer, so I'll know when people come in that aren't part of our alliance. This is the fit that I'm using, so this is a data site that we're going to be running, so I just have a tier 1 analyzer, and as I had mentioned in the first video, I'm doing this on my character who is, this is my PvP alt, so his skills for exploration are not fantastic in any way, shape, or form. This is all skills that you could be at with a brand new character, alpha character, probably within a day or two. That you could probably have the level 3 for the hacking skill as well as mostly level 2s for the scanning skills that he has. So with this, let's go ahead and get into what the hacking is. So once you've scanned down a site, you found either a relic or a data site, the things that you want to look at is kind of the tier. You can tell by what it says for the tier of the exploration site. So you'll see if I mouse over here, it says level 2. That is the difficulty of the site to be scanned down. So in this case, this is the second tier up. So tier 1 is going to be your easiest site to scan down, and generally your less profitable. Tier 2 is going to be more profitable. Tier 3 is going to be more profitable. Tier 4 will generally, not always, but generally be the most profitable site that you can have. In this case, it's always random what you'll get at the site, so let's go ahead and we'll warp to the site and I'll talk a little bit about them. Basically what the tiers do is they determine within the site you're going to have different cans. So the lowest tier usually has one of the best cans, tier 2 has 2 of the best cans, tier 3 has 3, and I believe tier 4 also has 3 of the top cans, but it has generally less of the lower level cans. So tier 3 and tier 4 sites are very similar. So in this case, on my main overview, since this is my PvP character, the cans aren't going to show up, so I have to go to my loot overview. And you'll see here, so data banks. These are in exploration for hacking or data sites. These are going to be your most valuable cans as a general rule. This is not always the case because the loot that you get out of a can is completely random. You could get nothing. You could get, high millions of ISKs, you could get 10 ISK, it just really is variable. But data banks are going to be your highest level, so they're going to be the hardest to hack, but they're also going to potentially have the biggest payout. Your mainframes are your second highest tier, and then your comm towers are going to be your lowest tier that you'll see in null security space. In HiSec and LowSec, the different cans, but in null, we're just covering nullsec, so we're going to cover those. So basically, databank is, as a rule, your most profitable, mainframes are your second, and then comm towers are going to be your least profitable, generally, cans that you'll see. So once you come into the site, in this case, we're running a data site, so we're going to come up to our first can. You're going to target it. You want to make sure you stay within 5,000 kilometers. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. What I normally will do is I have a default on my scanning alt that I normally do exploration on as a keep it range at 2,250, and that way I'm always within range to be able to loot the canister if I need to leave quickly, but I'm also far enough away from the can that I can activate my cloak if necessary, if someone jumps into the system. So that's just something to keep in mind is you want to, you don't want to lose your ship if you're flying, like I do, a 300 million ISK ship for exploration. Now, this fit is, I think, 2 million ISK total, and most of that is in the cloak. Yeah, this is it's 23 million because I have 23 million in my cargo, but my ship itself I think is worth 2 million ISK. So, and most of that is in the cloak. So this is a very cheap fit. So the one site I did earlier yesterday already has paid for this ship if I get it out alive. Now, one thing you want to do when you're hacking is set auto repeat to off. So in this case, I already did that, because what will happen is your modules will just run and run and run and run, and so if you fail a hack, you have to wait for it to finish before you can start over. So just always set your modules to auto-repeat off, because there's no reason for it to continue running. So once you run that, you want to make sure you can see your local window, make sure you can see your Dscan, so you know if somebody's coming, if you have to leave. And this is your hacking minigame. So basically what it is you remember I talked earlier about your virus strength, so that's here, 25. You can see that's 25 I talked about earlier. And then also I talked about the virus coherence. This is your health, that's 70. So you see this is your health bar this side, this is your strength here. The subsystems, I talked to you about the 3 subsystems, those are all right here. And those are good things that you can pick up that you can hold for later. And you'll hopefully see that as we go through. And they help you to win the game. Now, what it is we start here, and it's variable. This changes every time you hack. Where you start changes, where the core is changes. And so you start here, and your goal is to kind of pick your way through this maze and find the core and defeat the core. Okay, so you'll see here somebody just jumped into system that's a neutral, so I'm just going to descan. We do have a lot of PvP in this area, but most of the time people don't. Aha! Okay, so this guy's in a heron, which means he is also an explorer, and he has probes out. So we're going to pay attention and see if he's going to decide to come in here and fight. If so, we're going to run and leave. All right, but for the moment, let's continue on with this. So the big things that you want to keep in mind is, as a general rule, this is not 100%, but I would say in probably 60 to 70% of the time, the core is going to be as far from where you start as it can be. So most likely our core is going to be somewhere over in this area here. Now that is not 100% the case, but it is highly likely. Okay, now you want to look for what is called the rule of 6. This is probably one of the most important rules that you need to know in hacking, and I learned this from Johnny Splunk of Eve Scout, which I've learned most of my scanning and exploration skills from Eve Scout, which is an amazing corporation for exploration and explaining things, so thanks to Johnny Splunk for that. But anytime you see where you have 6 little spots that you can click on around an empty one in the middle, a 7th in the middle, the 7th will always be safe, unless it is touching the core. So for example, if I were to click here and I hit some kind of a bad subsystem, that would mean the core is in one of these surrounding spaces around me. So as you go, you basically want to make sure that you keep as much of your health or coherence as you possibly can, because as you lose it, if you run out of coherence, then you lose the game, and you get 2 tries to defeat the core, and if you don't, then you are out. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click here, and you'll see I have a 4. So that tells me is that there's something good within 4 of where I am. So I'm going to click here because I know that's safe. So now it's 3. And you'll see here again I have another safe area to click, and that shows me, okay, it's 2. So that means somewhere either 2 away, so that could be here, it could be here, or it could be here. There is something positive that I want. So I'm going to go here to, okay, so that means that it's over here in this corner here that I'm going to want to go. So I'm going to click over to this side, and we're going to see. Okay, so this is a good thing. This is a secondary vector, and so what this does is it allows you to attack something without having to directly attack it and lose coherence, which we will see how valuable that is later. Okay, so I'm 1 away, so we're going to go ahead and click here. Okay, 1 away again. So, all right, so right here you have a data cache. That can be either something good or something bad. And what you want to do is you want to be very careful, because unless you have to, you do not want to open this, because if it's something bad, you're in trouble. If it's something good, if you need it, then you want to use it, but you don't want to go there right away. Okay, so within 4, there's something good, so I know it can't be over here, so I'm not even going to bother going over here, because I could uncover something that will hurt me, and I won't necessarily uncover something that will help me. Okay, so you'll see here on 1AU, I have the heron is here in system, so more than likely it is going to be time for me to bug out. So we're going to see really quick if he starts approaching me, then we're going to go ahead and leave this data site, because there's also a rifter in system, and so we want to know. Yep, so he is coming, he has friends, so we're going to leave. And as you'll see, I failed the hack because I left within the 5AU of that, so we're going to go ahead and bug out, because now you can see there's several newts in system, and don't want to die on that. So that is one of the downsides of exploration, is you do have to be careful that you are usually flying a ship that cannot handle fighting other ships. There are some exceptions to that. which is why my exploration character, I will normally fly in Astero, because with the Astero, I actually could have stayed in there and I would have been able to chase him off the site, if not kill him, as well as his friend that was in the Rifter. I would have been able to take both of them out had I been flying the Astero, but on this character, he doesn't really do exploration, so I'm just trying to fly this in an alpha-friendly ship. So what we're going to do is see if he was just trying to gank me or if they're actually going to run the site. So we're going to turn our Dscan on. We're going to angle it so we can scan the site itself and see if it's just him there. And that is... yeah. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here, and I probably will remake this so that we can get a better go on this.